Switzerland is all about the mountains, the peaks, and if you want to experience the magnificent Swiss Alps in all their glory, the place to be is the Bernese Oberland. And if you want to find the heart of the Bernese Oberland, there's no place better than the very top of the mountain, known as the Jungfrau. But how do you reach this intrepid peak? Some kind of rocket ship? Of course not, you idiot. You simply purchase a ticket. An actually pretty expensive ticket that boasts it will take you to the very top of Europe. Is that actually true? And is the trip worth the money? Well, there's only one way to find out. Join me, the indomitable Steve McTravel, on a train ride to destiny. This is the Jungfraujoch. Our journey up the Jungfrau Mountain begins in the Lauterbrunnen Valley, which is pretty amazing on its own and a perfect base for exploration of the Bernese Oberland region. You could also choose to begin in the more cosmopolitan nearby town of Interlaken, which is often recommended, but I find that Lauterbrunnen is not only closer to the mountains that you came here for, but far more naturally beautiful. But if it's luxury hotels and horse-drawn carriages you want, go ahead to Interlaken, you elitist swine. You can purchase a ticket for the Jungfraujoch at the Lauterbrunnen train station. This is the part we have to pay, and the cost is a pretty penny. Or a pretty Swiss franc, which is worth a lot more than a stupid penny no matter how pretty it is. Tickets for the Jungfraujoch are subject to change, but expect to pay somewhere between 95 and 105 Swiss francs, which when converted into US dollars is, calculating, more money. If you time your departure just right, you can get some exercise in by running from the ticket station to your platform. Everything runs on time in Switzerland, which is a trait you might have heard of, so be sure to check ahead for departure times. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have spent so much time looking at that bird. But we made it to the train just in time to begin our adventure.
That wasn't so bad, was it?
The travel is this time around with my beloved mother, my darling then girlfriend, now wife Megan, and myself, your main man Steve McTravel. The McTravel trio settled into our seats, which, by the way, are very spacious and comfortable. One of my favorite things about Europe is that you don't need to spring for first-class tickets for a decent train ride. You can get plenty of legroom without some bullshit surcharge for the luxury of avoiding leg cramps. The ride up the mountain is scenic, and only gets more and more enchanting the higher you climb. You start out on the lush green valley floor, but before you know it, you are riding over a snow-covered mountainside. It feels like riding the Polar Express to Santa's workshop, a feeling that can bring out the kid in anyone, even my mother, and she hates enchanting train rides. After a few quick stops and a train change at Kleine Scheidig, you finally break through the clouds and get a grand full view of your destination, the Jungfrau, as well as her close friends, the Monk and Eiger. The names of this trio of mountains derives from an old Swiss folk tale wherein the young virgin, or Jungfrau, is being protected by the monk, or Monk, from the unwelcome advances of the ogre, or Eiger. The lady isn't interested, Eiger, says the monk, putting himself between the two mountains. We've all been there, right, ladies? The Eiger may have gotten his inflated ego after he co-starred in the 1975 Clint Eastwood mountain climbing movie The Eiger Sanction, a movie about an assassin who joins a mountain climbing team so that he may justify various action fight scenes on a Swiss mountain with a cool name.
Clint Eastwood, the man. Eiger, the mountain. A deadly combination. The raven-haired beauty Jemima Brown.
For your information, I was not assigned to seduce you.
The Jungfraujoch then takes you through the tunnel that bores directly into the Eiger Mountain and up to the Jungfrau. When you reach the first stop within the heart of the mountain, you get the opportunity to embrace your inner Bond villain by staring out this lookout at the surrounding peaks from inside your mountain lair. After getting back on the Jungfraujoch for one more stop, you are whisked away to the top of Europe. But not yet. First you get to wander through various exhibits and attractions which are varying degrees of interesting. The first exhibit you walk through is a room full of screens that are projecting a video to make it feel as though you are actually standing on top of a mountain rather than standing inside a mountain looking at a screen. This feels a little superfluous to me when this is literally on the way to see an actual mountaintop, but it's fine. Thanks for showing us the magic of screens. I do happen to have an actual handy piece of travel advice for you now, if you ever find yourself enjoying the Jungfrau experience. If you see the vast majority of your fellow passengers shuffling straight toward the elevator to the top of the mountain, go in the opposite direction. While the others are stuffing themselves into a small elevator so they can stand shoulder to shoulder on top of the mountain, you can freely explore the rest of the exhibits and have them all to yourself. The first destination is the ridiculously enchanting Alpine Sensation, which features glowing edelweiss, some silly Swiss yodel song, and a giant snow globe detailing a day of adventuring up the mountain. If you're like me, a childish simpleton who is endlessly amused by colorful lights, you'll be attracted to this exhibit like a moth to the flame.
That's beautiful.
Huh.
I wonder who made that.
Some crazy person. Following the Alpine Sensation exhibit is a long moving walkway featuring a beautifully painted mural highlighting the history of Swiss mountain exploration. From the first lederhosen-clad daredevils walking up the mountain with sticks and funny hats, to the first tourist hotel built on the side of this rugged and remote location. The conveyor belt leads you directly to yet another exhibit that takes you into the mind of Adolf Geyer Zeller, the Swiss railway entrepreneur behind the Jungfraujoch. Here he is seen after apparently being trapped in the prison dimension known as the Phantom Zone by his nemesis Superman. From there we travel via another conveyor belt down a tunnel which displays photographs of the engineers and laborers who brought Adolf Geyer Zeller's vision to life. 30 men died in the digging and dynamiting involved in creating these tunnels, all of whom were Italian migrant workers. Yet another example of how we can achieve any rich, eccentric man's dreams by throwing poor people into a hole with pickaxes and dynamite. After the sobering reminder of the human cost of our engineering marvels, we are taken to possibly the most amazing marvel yet, the delightfully slippery ice tunnels. You can slide along the floor and explore the intricate carved ice artwork and all the other nooks and crannies. Recreating the famous dancing scene from Risky Business is a great way to forget all about those brave, dead Italian laborers. Disclaimer: the thin air can make you feel short of breath and lightheaded from even moderate exertion, so frolic with caution.
Ooh, oh wow. Oh dude.
After some carefree slipping and sliding, it was finally time to venture to the very top of the Jungfrau. But not yet. First we have to check out the magnificent wonder known as Swiss Chocolate Heaven. Want to go to Swiss Chocolate Heaven?
Do I? I have a thing today, so
Yeah, I know.
I would love to have chocolate for breakfast.
It's basically just a chocolate shop. Save your money and buy chocolate when you get off the mountain. Though they do have a real live chocolatier on site to give you a demonstration on how Lindt makes those delightful chocolate. Oh dear God! Ah! Sorcerer! Following this lesson in chocolate witchcraft, you can go to the gift shop and buy some Christmas tree ornaments, but frankly, I've had it with the delayed gratification. It's time to scale the peak! To the top! Well, not quite, but I'll explain that later. Now, it is the time to gaze in wonder at the majesty of nature. It may have taken a feat of engineering to reach this point, but the beauty of the spectacular Swiss Alps laid before you can be credited to no man. Being at the top of Europe, but not really, is a truly awe-inspiring experience. My mother said the view from above the clouds looked like, quote, where all the dead people are. I said, you mean heaven? And she said, yeah, damn right, Mom, quite heavenly. And we appreciate it all the more because we put no effort into getting up here. Those mountain climbers are suckers. They could just buy a very expensive train ticket and take a scenic ride to the very top of the 19th tallest mountain in Europe. 15 if you don't count the ones in Turkey, Russia, and Georgia. Wait, did I say the top? I meant not the top, because this is in fact not the top of the Jungfrau. To get to the very top, you have to take one more elevator to stand on a crowded platform at the very, very top of not actually the top of Europe. But really, it's pretty anticlimactic this way. The other view is a lot better and less crowded, but I guess you have to do it just to say you did it. Whew, it is cold as a bastard up here. In the end, the big question is the Jungfraujoch worth the money? Well, that's up to the individual. Personally, no one in the McTravel trio considered our time and money ill spent. The mountaintop is spectacular on its own, but there are cheaper ways to scale a mountain peak in the Alps. I was pleased with the exhibits, which I felt rose above the standard tourist trap editions that are shoehorned into a natural wonder in order to maximize profitability. So I would recommend the Jungfraujoch to travelers to the Jungfrau region, but only if you saw anything in this video that interested you. If you don't want to spend the money, feel free to bring your crampons and pickaxes and summit the peak the old-fashioned way. By dying. Anyway, that's all for now. Keep on traveling. Auf Wiedersehen. Wait, that's Rick Steve's sign-off. I should probably think of one of my own. Keep on Steve McTravelin'. I gotta work on that. There it is. Ooh.